Thousands of fans rushed for tickets, and the Canadian Open had no choice but to move Alex Eala's match to center court. Our grandstand court is 2,800 seats. We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets. The demand for the Filipina sensation has reached levels that even tournament organizers couldn't predict. With tickets selling out in just 30 minutes, the tournament director was forced to make a decision that has never been made before. And he's even changing the food menu to accommodate the Filipino community. Is Alex Eala becoming the biggest ticket in tennis today? The phones at the National Bank open ticket office started ringing the moment Alex Eala's name appeared on the schedule. And within 30 minutes, every single seat was gone. The demand was so overwhelming that organizers were forced to make a decision that has never been made before. The Canadian Open had never seen anything like it. When tickets went on sale for the Filipina sensation's second-round match against Alicia Parks, they vanished in just 30 minutes. Tournament director Carl Hale had been watching the numbers closely, and what he saw left him stunned. "We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect," Hale told the CBC. "I think her fans were specifically waiting to see when she played." The numbers were staggering. Hale confirmed that Eala had sold upwards of 5,000 tickets for a match that was originally scheduled for the 2,800-seat grandstand court. The math was simple. The venue couldn't hold the crowd that was coming. Our grandstand court is 2,800 seats. We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets, Hale told the Tennis Channel. The decision was unprecedented. Eala's match would be moved to center court. The main court at Sobeys Stadium holds 12,500 spectators, more than 4 times the capacity of the grandstand. It's a stage typically reserved for the biggest names in tennis, players like Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka. But on Wednesday night, it would belong to a 21-year-old from the Philippines. The sellout was even more remarkable given the context. Eala was scheduled to play during the evening session, alongside local favorite Leylah Fernandez, who was also competing on the same night. Despite Fernandez being a Canadian star on home soil, the hype was all around Eala. The Filipino community in Toronto, over 250,000 strong, had turned out in numbers that stunned even the most seasoned tournament organizers. "All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it," Hale said. This wasn't the first time Eala's fans had caused a rush. At the Australian Open earlier this year, huge overcrowding forced organizers to apologize as fans formed massive queues to watch Eala on outside courts. Her first-round match was placed on a small court with limited capacity, and fans were left scrambling for space. The organizers admitted they had miscalculated the demand. Now in Toronto, they had learned from that mistake, only to be overwhelmed again. The 30-minute sellout was a testament to the phenomenon that Eala has become. She has achieved something that even the sport's biggest names couldn't manage. According to Tennis Connected, only Serena Williams had sold out an opening Wednesday night in Toronto over the last 20 years. Not Federer, not Nadal, not Djokovic. Just Serena and now Alex Eala. What would you do if you were told your match had to be moved to a bigger stadium because you sold too many tickets? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would keep fighting, keep inspiring, and keep proving that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes could fill the biggest stadiums in the world. The 30-minute sellout had left tournament director Carl Hale in a difficult position. The 2,800-seat grandstand court simply couldn't hold the crowd that was coming, and he knew exactly what he had to do. "Our grandstand court is 2,800 seats," Hale told the Tennis Channel, his voice carrying a mix of amazement and urgency. "We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets." The math was simple but staggering. Eala had sold nearly twice as many tickets as the venue could hold. The Sobeys Stadium main court, with its 12,500 capacity, was the only option. And with the Wednesday night session already sold out, Hale knew he was witnessing something unprecedented. "We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect," Hale told the CBC. The decision to move a player to center court, based purely on ticket demand, was something the tournament had never done before. All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it, Hale said. What made the move even more remarkable was the context. Local favorite Leila Fernandez, a Canadian star from Quebec, was also scheduled to play during the same evening session. Despite Fernandez being on home soil, the hype was all around Eala. The Filipino community in Toronto, over 250,000 strong, had turned out in numbers that even organizers couldn't have predicted. "It's incredible," Hale said to TSN's Mark Masters. "It's something we've never seen before this early in the tournament." The unprecedented demand didn't stop at singles. Eala is also scheduled to return to center court on Thursday night for doubles, partnering with tennis legend Venus Williams. Hale confirmed it's the first time he can remember a first-round doubles match being moved to the main court. The 30-minute sellout and the forced court change were the latest evidence that the Eala effect had arrived in Toronto. And with the Filipino community in the Greater Toronto area, representing 62% of the total Filipino-Canadian population, rallying behind her, Hale knew that the phenomenon was only just beginning. What would you do if you were forced to move a match to a bigger stadium because its players sold too many tickets? For tournament director Carl Hale, the answer was simple. He would trust the numbers, trust the demand, and give the fans what they wanted, a chance to see Alex Eala on the biggest stage possible. The tickets vanished in 30 minutes. The match was moved to center court. And then the tournament organizers did something they had never done before. They changed the menu. Because when Alex Eala comes to town, she doesn't just bring a tennis match. She brings an entire community. The Greater Toronto area is home to over 250,000 individuals of Filipino descent, the largest Filipino community in Canada. They had been waiting for this moment, following Eala's journey from Quezon City to Washington. And when they learned she was coming to Toronto, they answered the call in numbers that stunned even the tournament organizers. All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it. Tournament director Carl Hale told the CBC, "The demand was so overwhelming that organizers were forced to make unprecedented changes. The first change was the venue. Eala's opening match against Alicia Parks was originally scheduled for the 2,800-seat grandstand court, but ticket sales exceeded 5,000, making it impossible to accommodate the crowd in the smaller venue. The match was moved to center court at Sobe Stadium, which holds 12,500 spectators. The second change was something no one expected: the food. With thousands of Filipino fans expected to pack the stadium, organizers decided to alter the menu at food stands around Sobe Stadium to offer more traditional Filipino dishes. The decision reflected an understanding that Eala's matches weren't just sporting events. They were cultural gatherings. "I think her fans were specifically waiting to see when she played," Hale told the CBC. The move also acknowledged the deep connection between Eala and the Filipino diaspora. From the moment her appearance was announced, seats sold out within 30 minutes. Hale confirmed it was the first time he could remember a first-round doubles match being moved to the main court. As Eala is also scheduled to return to center court on Thursday night for doubles, partnering with tennis legend Venus Williams.
"We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect," Hale said. The adaptability of the tournament organizers was a testament to the power of the Filipino community.
They had learned from the Australian Open, where huge overcrowding forced organizers to apologize as fans formed massive queues to watch Eala on outside courts. This time, they were prepared. But even they couldn't keep up with the demand. What would you do if you had to change your menu because of one player's fan base? For the Canadian Open organizers, the answer was simple. They would adapt. They would accommodate. And they would give the Filipino community a homecoming they would never forget. Because they knew that when Eala steps onto the court, she doesn't just play for herself. She plays for a nation. Bore. The tickets were gone in 30 minutes. The match was moved to center court. And when Alex Eala was asked about the overwhelming support she was about to receive, her response was pure, unfiltered gratitude. Yes, I've been told that it's going to be a full house tomorrow. So I'm really very excited to see and experience the atmosphere. The 21-year-old Filipina sensation had just completed the most physically and emotionally demanding week of her career. She had survived a 20-hour rain delay in Washington. She had conquered 4 top 10 opponents in a single tournament. She had defeated the world number 3 in the final. And now, she had barely 24 hours to recover before stepping onto the court in Toronto. But Eala wasn't thinking about the fatigue. She was thinking about the people. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up, Eala said in her pre-tournament press conference. And they're enjoying tennis and, hopefully it will help grow the sport as well and, in the end, give them something, a new experience and a joyful experience. The Filipina superstar was also scheduled to play doubles alongside Venus Williams later in the tournament, with tournament director Carl Hale confirming it's the first time he can remember a first-round doubles match being moved to center court. But for now, her focus was on the singles match against Alicia Parks, a rematch of their Australian Open first-round clash, where Parks had come back from a first-set demolition to defeat Eala. Eala had already proven she could handle the pressure of a full house. During her rain-delayed DC Open final, the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center had been packed with Filipino fans, waving Philippine flags and chanting her name. Even Pegula, as well as DC Open owner Mark Ine, was in awe of how Eala's supporters came out even amid the bad weather. Now, she was expecting the same in her Canadian Open debut. This recent milestone in DC, my first championship, it's been a crazy 24 hours, Eala admitted. And my mind's just been going back and forth between focusing on the next match. But she was learning to handle it. So I'm learning how to handle it. But yeah, I do understand that I'm playing another match tomorrow, so all my attention is going to be on that. I'm slowly transitioning while I have a day to transition. Eala's calm confidence has been the bedrock of her success. She knew that the 10,000 fans packing center court would be on her side. She knew that the Filipino community in Toronto, over 250,000 strong, had turned the Canadian Open into a homecoming. And she knew that the sellout crowd represented something far deeper than a tennis match. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up, she repeated, her words carrying the weight of everything she had achieved. What would you do if you knew a stadium full of people was coming to see you? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would give them everything she had. Because she knew exactly what it meant to be seen. When the gates opened at Sobeys Stadium, the scene was unlike anything the Canadian Open had ever witnessed. Filipino families, many of whom had traveled for hours, filled the stands. Philippine flags draped every section. But what no one expected was the power of what they were about to witness. Tournament director Carl Hale had been watching the phenomenon build for days. The phone calls, the ticket rush, the 30-minute sellout. He had never seen anything like it in his 2 decades in the tennis industry. All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it, he told the CBC. The 21-year-old from Quezon City had done the unthinkable. She had turned a WTA 1000 event into a cultural gathering. When Alex Eala walked onto center court for her second-round match against Alicia Parks, the roar was deafening. The 12,500-seat stadium was packed to capacity. Every single ticket had been sold within half an hour of going on sale. The food stands around Sobeys Stadium had been updated to serve traditional Filipino dishes, a first in the tournament's history. Everything about the evening had been designed to welcome the community that had turned out in force. The match itself was a statement. Eala dismantled Parks in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, avenging her Australian Open loss in just 1 hour and 12 minutes. But the victory was almost secondary to what the moment represented. For the Filipino diaspora in Toronto, Eala's presence wasn't just about tennis. It was about being seen. It was about a community that had long been overlooked finally having someone to rally behind. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up, Eala had said before the match. And they're enjoying tennis, and hopefully it will help grow the sport as well, and in the end, give them something, a new experience and a joyful experience. That joy was on full display as the final point was played. The eruption was deafening. Tears streamed down faces. The Philippines had arrived. What would you do if an entire community showed up to support you? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would give them everything she had. Because she knew that her victory wasn't just hers. It belonged to everyone who had ever believed in her. And as she walked off center court, the message was clear. The movement was just beginning.